reflection of the water on the birds is so beautiful. There we go, there we go. Nice, nice. Just freezing the moment where the birds are actually flying off the wetland and you can see the water droplets on the feet. TonyWild is not only about creating awareness, but it goes ahead and uses these visuals to push for individual conservation action and philanthropy among not only scientists, but also people who are not necessarily part and parcel of conservation space. I create images to inspire conservation action. I am Ochieng, and I am a change maker.
Wildlife ecologist, conservation photographer, and filmmaker Anthony Ochieng founded the media platform TonyWild in 2016. Since then, his work has received global recognition from organizations including the World Wildlife Fund and the International League of Conservation Photographers.
TonyWild is a foundation that mainly focuses on using visuals to share stories about conservation, and the profits we receive when we work with the different conservation organizations goes back to two amazing projects: the Visual Ecological Literacy Program and the Mitigation Project, which are mainly focused on inspiring young people into conservation.
Today, the TonyWild team is traveling from Nairobi, Kenya to Rusinga Island on the shores of Lake Victoria.
We are in Rusinga Island, where I call home. We are one of my favorite spots where I used to come as a young person. My work allows me to travel in various places, and just coming back to Rusinga allows me to reconnect with my own people and also just appreciate the beautiful sunsets and sunrise that are so epic. I admire every single day that I am in Rusinga. When I used to grow up, there's a book that was about birds of Rusinga. So I had a book that I used to come with, and we'll actually try to identify the birds I've seen here at the lake. Rusinga, combined with a bit of the mainland, has a total of 119 bird species, and I'm pretty sure I've actually seen all of them. I found peace in birds because they enable me to understand nature more with the way they move around. Birds don't have any boundaries. And when you talk about birds, trees come into play. When you talk about trees, water comes into play. When you talk about water, livelihoods come into play. That connection builds that whole ecosystem. Think about it deeper.
The photographer and filmmaker is also a committed environmental educator.
Welcome to Kamasengre Secondary School. This is a place where I actually taught a while back, and I'm really excited today to come back to teach about ecology, but then using visuals and pictures and still motions to talk about environmental stuff. I'm so passionate about working with young people, especially in environmental conservation space, because I believe they have a role to play and they can be the best people to actually change whatever is happening right now to the planet. And I'm going to teach you something different about how you and a tree are related with each other. We need to share with them more information, and we need to use different avenues to be able to just get their attention that these particular ecosystems or habitat or species belongs to you to protect, not only for yourself, but also for the future generations.
Every morning I try to come this way.
Today's curriculum includes screening an original TonyWild film production, planting trees, and receiving hands-on photography training.
It's not just about me sharing what I know, but allowing them to be able to express themselves in their own way using photography. And that is my favorite part of working with kids. We need to speak their language. We can be able to get into their hearts to take action in conservation. See, the frame is just here. And even if you look through the viewfinder, like right now, I can see the same concept of the frame. What I love being a photographer the most is just seeing people just getting back to me and saying the image you took made me realize that I need to do something.
Anthony says he discovered his passion for nature conservation on an early childhood trip to one of Kenya's national parks.
One of the things that I had a privilege to do was being taken to Nairobi National Park with the school I was in. It took me into a journey of just realizing how beautiful nature is. And this made me more involved in environmental activities in primary school, where I led students in planting trees, and this is way back in the 90s. And then when I went to high school, we did a lot like restoring the landscape, planting trees. But then lucky enough, I was selected to do a degree in wildlife management. And straight on, it was like, that is the best thing I will have ever done to my life today. That journey just grew from one assignment to the other, where I got to work with different conservation organizations. And I was so happy to just be able to pursue that dream.
Through the TonyWild Visual Ecological Literacy Program, Anthony and his team are helping a new generation of young people to learn about the environment and engage in conservation efforts as they pursue their dreams.
Now Trey, take a picture. Let's see you taking a picture of that bird. So we are currently in Ruma National Park, which is in the western part of Kenya. And we are here to share with the students the beauty of the park and teach them about giraffes, rhinos, roan antelopes, which are actually remaining in this particular park alone in the whole country. My hope is for the students to just be able to appreciate what they currently have within the ecosystem.
Next, Anthony makes a professional leap from wildlife ecologist to conservation photographer.
It takes time to create a powerful image.
Anthony Ochieng loves working in nature conservation and says he wants to share his work with the broader public through photography.
I realized that we were not really telling our stories. We were doing a lot of work with communities, amazing work with different habitats and species. But then we're not telling these stories to the people who need to listen to them, telling these stories to amongst ourselves as peers. But you're not removing that science and putting it in a multimedia perspective that any other person can understand it, communicating to another group of people who not necessarily do not have a science background in conservation, but have a role to play in protecting conservation and protecting the environment as a whole.
Anthony says he used his savings to invest in a photography course before he could afford to buy a professional camera.
I can remember I went to like 4 classes without a camera. Like I literally went to the class without a camera. I just sat to just listen to what exactly am I getting myself into. I took my savings, put them together, and then bought my first camera. Trust me, that is the best day I can recall of my life in this particular career. I was like, yes, now I can shoot my birds with peace and just bring them closer to me. I can remember that night I actually slept next to my camera because it was so valuable. I was like, this is all my savings in just this small little equipment.
As Anthony immersed himself in conservation photography in Kenya, he was surprised to find the industry is dominated by photographers from the West.
I'm pretty sure there's somebody from our end who can actually do it. We as Africans have the role to play in supporting conservation. So my images allowed me to really break those barriers. And once people knew it was actually somebody from their own space, it inspired other people to actually start appreciating the value of believing in themselves. And it is something I'm happy about because it allowed me to just show people that it's possible. Regardless of whatever background you come from, you have a chance to pursue any particular passion you want.
After a day with students, Anthony is heading out to the ranger in hope of photographing the elusive roan antelope.
So roan antelopes are actually only found in Ruma National Park in Kenya. At the moment, there are only 15 Kenyan roan antelopes that are remaining. I've been coming to this park like almost several times in the year, but I've never had a chance to just be closer enough to get a nice image of a roan antelope. And today was that just day, thanks to Grace, who's just made me get one awesome image of the roan antelope. So roan antelopes are very shy animals, and they tend to be far away from people. They can see from farther distance that you're coming, and they can just hide away. And that's why it's really difficult to photograph them. So getting a chance to just have an image of a roan antelope for me is amazing, because I can now use it to share more about the roan antelope's story. Whew, I'm so happy. Like, I'm so excited that I finally got an image of the roan antelope that I've been really craving to just get that particular image. So I'm really happy about it. I'm going to sleep as a happy man. They put a roan antelope. And not just two, a series of, oh nice. This is my favorite. The leg walk. Yes. Made my day. What I love most about my work is just holding that camera and just getting out there and shooting. So the camera allows me to express myself through my images.
Through his photography, Anthony hopes to help protect Africa's wildlife and inspire others to do the same.
Conservation is for all of us. It doesn't have to be in a park to protect it, no. The wildlife next to you, the trees, the birds, the insects, have that environment around you and just protect it. And that for me is so amazing. And so I'm looking at TonyWild growing into be an institution that does not only provide conservation visual storytelling services to conservation organizations, but also supporting environmental education with visuals and philosophy across every habitat and ecosystem.